Hey, how are you guys? Yeah, today I'm taking you to Chelsea, Massachusetts, part of Boston, and I wanna discover some traces, Polish traces in that neighborhood, because it used to be Polish 100 years ago. This is in front of you. That's an iconic Tobin Bridge. I love to drive that way from like Boston to Chelsea, or the other way. The views are amazing, especially at night. You can see the downtown Boston. Yeah, this part of Chelsea is called Admiral's Hill. It's probably the best part. Not many poor people. You can see some yachts more parked here. Yeah, the trees that grow here are acacia trees, which are the same like in Krakow, where I live. So you can smell the same kind of resin coming from those trees. Yeah, you can see downtown Boston that way. Yeah, the bridge is under constant renovation. They always do some maintenance work because it's quite old. It might make sense to actually demolish it probably and build a new one. I'm not sure what is more cost effective, but you can see the amazing view. If you live here in Admiral's Hill, you will see this beautiful view worth $1 million. Every day. Well, this is the rose that I use for making jam. These rose petals. I mix them with sugar, boil them, and distribute into jars. It tastes and smells amazing. Yeah, what you see here are storage tanks for oil, heating oil, because in Massachusetts houses are heated by oil, not by coal. In the European Union that would be probably not allowed, but here that's the most cost-effective way. So people have like a storage tank, oil tank in their house, and that's what they use for heating. No gas. Some people maybe use gas, but most of people use heating oil. Some of that is basically also a fuel for the cars. So the trucks that deliver fuel to the gas stations, they get charged here. But you can imagine, it's not a very safe neighborhood. Imagine if there was a fire or explosion. I wouldn't want to live anywhere near those tanks. Yeah, today this neighborhood is Latino. There are very few Polish people left, mostly like old generation. Yeah, these people are really prosper. They own businesses. So yeah, this is very important remnant of Polish people in this neighborhood. This is called, see the flag, it's called Polish PPC, Polish Political Club. I went there once or maybe twice in my life. It was a very sketchy experience. The people that there's like a bar on the front, on the first floor, and there's like a room for like events on the second floor. So the people were sitting by the bar. They probably belong to some local organized crime. They were not Polish, definitely. Hey, how are you? Yeah, but all these houses were built by the Polish people. Red bricks. So yeah, I went to that club once, and the guy who was sitting by the bar, like there was like older guy. He said he bought me beer, so I don't know, I kind of accepted, and you know, we were just talking, and strange thing, there were like some young people would come every now and then, and they would like come to him and tell him, oh, they need money for this or that, and they were asking him to give them money, and he would just pull money from his pocket and give it to them. And then he looked like a don, like an Italian don, seriously. And then like maybe 10 o'clock, he's sharp. They were like maybe like middle-aged, there were some middle-aged women, trashy looking, and they all stood up and they were about to leave the place. So I asked him why they were leaving suddenly, and you know what he said? He said that the new ship came to Chelsea and they needed to make some 200 or 300 bucks. So now you can imagine what kind of people live here. Ciepela, that's a Polish name. Ciepela, Charles Ciepela. Very small park. Somebody has like a book collection. Hey, how are you doing?
Good.
Oh. So you see, every house is required to have the fire escape stairs. All of them. Sometimes they are wooden, sometimes I'm not sure if that's a good idea, because if there's a fire, those wooden stairs would catch it, definitely. So I came here once and there was this guy that was like talking about this neighborhood. He told me that they filmed several movies in Chelsea. So Chelsea in the movies was actually acting like a different neighborhood, like a Charlestown, because it looks very similar to Charlestown, but there's less trouble if you make a movie here, because Charlestown is extremely, like, you know, congested. Yeah, when I was looking for a place to buy, I went to some of those apartments. Yeah, most of them are kind of small. You can't really even bring modern appliances upstairs because the stairs are so narrow. You have to lift them, actually, bring them to the maybe back door, or use a lift. Even the windows are so narrow. I don't know how they get a washer and dryer inside. Okay, this is like a nicer part of that neighborhood. See, some people live in the on the garden level. They call it garden level, but in Poland they would call it basement. And nobody would live in this kind of apartment in Poland, but here it's considered like a normal. There's just too much humidity in those apartments, plus all the dust. If you can really open the window. I can smell the linden trees. You see, this is called Polonia Park. Polonia means Poland in Latin, I guess. These are some kind of warehouses, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, these are like a balconies that people have, and they can use also them for evacuation in case of fire, I guess. Yeah, during the 4th of July, which happens in a couple of weeks, the people will be partying there. There's another bridge over there. So that bridge is called the drawbridge, I believe. So it just opens when the ship wants to pass through. The ship that delivers oil or salt, technical salt for like a snow removal. When the ship wants to pass through, the bridge has to open. And then once I was like that was New Year's Day. I wanted to pass, and there was a TV crew filming something, and there was a police car that blocked the passage. You could not drive through over the bridge. So I asked them what is going on here, the TV people, and they didn't want to tell me. So later on I figured out. So yeah, this is the salt stored here for the winter months. Yeah, I like this building. I think it's called Admiral's building or something like that. So yeah, so later on I figured out that there was an accident. There was a woman coming just on New Year's Eve, coming home from East Boston, which is on the other side, and then the bridge was about to open, and she really was in a rush, so she decided to run and make it on time. So she made it on the other side, and then those two parts started separating from each other, and then she decided she was like in a precarious situation because it was very steep, and she decided she was sliding towards the water. So she managed to hold on to something, and she was screaming like crazy. So the woman who was opening the bridge she could hear the screaming, and then she didn't know what was going on, but she decided to close the bridge. And when she did that, she went outside to check it out, and she discovered that the person, that other woman who was screaming, she got completely crushed, and her body pieces were floating in the water. When she saw that, she fainted. And the funny thing is, in this like a dramatic situation, that both of these women shared the same last name. They were both like a Latino, Gomez or something like that. Yeah, as you see everywhere, Spanish names. There are not many Polish people left here. This neighborhood used to be very bad. When I came to Boston 18 years ago, you could see a lot of crime. But then the FBI moved to a building in Chelsea, and the local police, they felt very embarrassed. They were very corrupt, from what I heard. They would accept bribes and they would do nothing. So after the FBI moved in, they cleaned the neighborhood. You don't see any sketchy people in the street anymore. But yeah, when I came here, it was pretty bad. Okay, this is another important place. Not the police station. Police station is also important, but there's something else. That I want to show you. Yeah, this is dedicated to General Kazimierz Pułaski, or Kazimierz Pułaski in Polish, 1931, by the Polish people of Chelsea, to General Kazimierz Pułaski. So he is considered the founder of the American cavalry. You can see the Polish eagle on top. Yeah, but all these businesses are Spanish. Tijuana, Mexican, Honduran, Salvadorian restaurants. Yeah, this smells amazing. Oh. It smells like lilacs. Polish people left, and now you see this kind of crowd. As Copernicus said, Copernicus, who discovered that the Earth is not the center of the universe, so he was also an economist. So one of the laws, Copernican laws, said that the cheap currency will replace strong currency, and that's what we are seeing. Good people are being replaced by trashy people. People who are more resilient, people who break the law, you see, they don't pay taxes and they buy these huge trucks. And if a normal person pays like 40% taxes. You can afford to buy those trucks. But all those illegal immigrants, they feel entitled, doing whatever they want. They think they can break the law, just like in their home country. Okay, let's go to one more place. Yeah, I want to show you what happened to the Polish church. Yeah, by the way, I showed you one Polish club, but there used to be 3 Polish clubs in Chelsea. There was a veterans club and not Eagle, Gniazdo Sokoła in Polish. Falcon's Nest. There were 3 Polish clubs, only one of them remained intact. The young generation moved out, and only a few like older folks. Okay, so this is the Polish church. You see, 1908. Świętego Stanisława. And this was to be another building where the priest's office was. So they built the condos here. And the church has been converted to condos as well. Yeah, Polish people, see, now there are condos or apartments. Polish people build the church, they give the money and then maintain the church for probably more than 100 years, and the diocese decided to sell it. To make money. That is completely criminal. You see, it's called the cathedral. This building also belongs to the church. I think there used to be school, Polish school, but I'm not sure what. I see the cat. I'm not sure what is inside of that. Maybe it was sold to the same developer. Yeah, this was built in 1922. You know what's inside of this building? What? What's inside of this building now? This used to be Polish church, right? No idea? Okay, thank you, Papi. You see, this is the Saint Stanislaus school, Polish school. Now, who knows? See the golden chains now, and faces that don't express much intelligence. So the neighborhood was like a Polish until the Great Fire. There were 2 great fires in Chelsea that decimated the place. So the main industry here was like a recycling of the rags because before the invention of the polyester, nylon and other like artificial fibers, people used natural fibers like wool, cotton, and those clothes were expensive and they were being recycled in Chelsea. So there were many businesses around that recycling, and you know, it's like very flammable material, cotton or wool. So there was like one fire first that destroyed part of the city, and in 1975 I believe there was a huge fire on that part. Those buildings were not touched, but on the other side there was a huge fire that destroyed so many buildings that they decided not to rebuild them, but convert it into more like industrial area. And that's when Polish people started living this neighborhood. They were, you know, getting educated, more successful. Children left to better. They started to move into the better neighborhoods. There were like Polish Catholics living here and Polish Jews. So for what I heard, Jews had like 10 different synagogues, but to this day only one of them remains. Now you can see all this made in China garbage. Yeah, I'm gonna walk to the central area of Chelsea. I want to show you one more thing, one more Polish trace. Yeah, this is the bus that will take you over that Tobin Bridge, and you will see amazing view of Boston from the upper lane. Yeah, this used to be Polish club. Now it's called Emiliana Fiesta. Mamacitas. So that chain, the chain of dentist offices is run by a Jewish guy. He targets like a Latino neighborhoods, and he offers them like a cheap service, but there's a catch. He hires dentists freshly out of school who have no money to start their own practice, and they have very bad or poor skills. So these people make tons of mistakes. It's actually not worth going there because it will cost you more money to fix all the mistakes they did. And the service is horrible. They schedule you to come. This is the iconic bar here. They schedule you to come. They schedule you to come like 1 hour early, and then you have to wait for at least 1 hour because they double schedule, so they don't waste time. they make constant mistakes. They tell you, they give you a lower estimate, and when it comes to paying, it's usually 50% more than they promised. So the place was horrible. I gave them horrible reviews, and then I noticed that those reviews completely disappeared. They were probably, the owner was probably embarrassed. Yeah, cheap Chinese food, they will give you a heart attack. He's praying to the $10 bill. Oh, my favorite person is here. Simon. Thank you. Hey Simon, don't run. ¿Cómo está?
Yeah.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful day, warm.
Oh yeah.
You're like always here. I know you can. I can always find you here. This is your spot in Chelsea.
Where you come from? You
Me?
live in Chelsea, you don't live.
No, I don't live in Chelsea. I come here to make a video.
Where you live?
I live in Austin, Brighton. But it's good to see you, bro.
Yeah.
I'll see you later, bro. Okay, so I want to see you to see the mural here. So this mural depicts all these different ethnicities: the blacks, the Latinos, the Honduranios, but Chapati people. But part of that mural is dedicated to Polish people. You see those two girls, Polish Krakowiak or some other Polish dress, dancing here. This is one thing, and another Polish element is that Kajem. So the Polish people started like a very successful sausage factory. It's located in the industrial park. It's called Kajem, and this is probably the person who started it. He was called Monkiewicz, butcher, and today that's like a multi-million-dollar business. Yeah, there are many sketchy streets here. This is one of the most sketchy places. Especially in the old times, before the FBI moved to Chelsea. I believe they have also like a Ukrainian church, Orthodox, but it's much smaller. Yeah, this is the place where people congregate during the warm months, and they spend hours here sitting and just people watching and talking. Let's see if there are any Polish names here.
Hello?
Yeah, Kozłowski, Nemerowski, Kozłowski, Skoczylas, Socha, Norecki, Suszyński, Zawadzki, Woliński, Berkowicz, that's probably Polish Jew, Bielski, probably Polish Jew. Brodsky, the same thing. Two Brodskis. Yeah.